Deepwater had one job, a truly terrifying concept: a plane crash, open water, sharks circling below. And for about 20 minutes in this movie, it delivered one of the most intense disaster sequences that I've seen in a long time. And then it forgot what it was doing. The setup is exactly what it sounds like. You've got a commercial flight that goes down in the ocean. You've got survivors clinging to wreckage while you've got sharks moving in. That's the movie. That's the premise. Sounds pretty simple. And honestly, it's a solid one. I can get down with it. You've got everything you need for about 90 minutes of sustained dread. So, what went wrong? Well, for one, it's an hour and 45 minutes and not 90, so it's about 15 minutes too long. But let's break it all down. The crash sequence is a reason alone just to watch this movie. The plane comes apart in ways that we think a plane is going to break apart when it hits the ocean at, hundreds of miles per hour. It doesn't look like just an action sequence from a movie where it's being engineered just for the cool visuals. This feels chaotic and it's just uncontrolled. People don't survive because they're brave or smart. They survive because they just happen to be in the right seat and they just get lucky. That's just how it works. And that's just how this crash sequence went down. It reminded me of Final Destination, and not just because of the deaths themselves, but because of the indifference behind them, because death just came to anybody that was there. It didn't care who that person was. And for about that, the whole sequence, Deepwater understood that completely. But then after that, the intensity just didn't come back. And then usually with disaster films, you've got to talk about the characters, okay? And in this particular movie, you've got a co-pilot that has a sick child at home. So in his own little head, he doesn't want to deal with the sick child, so he takes on all these extra jobs so he doesn't have to be at home. You've got a grandmother that's flying across the world to meet her grandchild that I guess she's only seen a handful of times. You've got an esports team that is coming back from a tournament, and there's a forbidden romance that is not supposed to be happening because it's in the team rules between these two young gamers. And then you've got this step sibling, learning how to coexist and live together because now that their parents now live together. The film introduces these characters like it's going to build towards something, like it's going to cash in on this setup once the sharks start to come and help themselves to the buffet in the water. But the movie never really does. And when these people start to die off, you really don't care. I mean, you note it, but you're just like, okay, there's another one gone. And in a disaster type movie, emotional weight carries investment. And the script here never really gives you a reason why to invest or why you care about anybody in this film. Now, when the trailer came out, we saw, okay, a plane's going down in the ocean and it's going to be a shark movie. You know why we all go buy the tickets? We want to see the sharks. And that's where Deep Water just really lost me. I mean, let's be honest, every shark movie that comes out, we compare it to the OG, Jaws.
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
And Jaws didn't show you the shark for the majority of the film. And that wasn't because it was a budget decision. That was the craft that made that movie just perfect. The fear wasn't the shark, it was not knowing where the shark was coming from. Deepwater shows you these sharks, either one or two by themselves or a whole cluster of them, and then they rush in and they show a quick attack and then it's gone. There's no buildup, there's no nothing. It's just there and then gone. There's no sustained tension that's leading up to someone getting ready to get chewed on. And let's be honest, when it comes to Jaws with the practical effects, and then you compare it to Deep Water with the CGI just doesn't hold up for a sustained period of time. Because as you know, practical effects forces the filmmakers to get more selective with their kills. The selective kills are always scarier. The ocean should feel alive with danger. And instead, it just looked like a backdrop. Now, with every disaster movie that comes out, the movie is always asking you to meet it halfway. And I get that. You've got to suspend disbelief for just a little bit. But Deep Water just pushed it just a little bit past that halfway point for me. The one character, the bad guy who is kind of responsible for the entire plane going down, somehow he always has a dry cigarette, to smoke, even though he's been fully submerged in the water. But then later on, he's bringing out a cigarette, and it's like, wait a minute, how can you possibly have a dry cigarette? And the second one is, if you saw this movie already, you know exactly what I'm about to hit on. And that's the cell phones. How is it that there all these characters end up in the water, at least here, and later on in the movie, the grandma is looking at her grandbaby on her phone when she's about to drown, and she leaves a message. Where was that phone? Sitting on her head the whole time? And then later on in the movie, when they are rescued, their phones start to work. And I'm like looking around going, what the heck? They didn't have, a bowl of rice to stick their phone in so it'd have a chance to dry. And these just aren't small details, okay? These are the things that pull you out of the experience completely. And once you're out of that experience, the tension is gone and you're just rolling your eyes and you're looking at your watch again saying, man, how much longer do I have to sit in this movie? Deep Water is a movie that peaked in about the first 20 minutes of the film, and then it just couldn't find its way back. The premise is there. That's the crazy part. The opening sequence with the plane crash proved that the filmmakers knew exactly what the film could do. And between the crash and the credits, it fell apart somewhere in the middle, figuratively speaking. So, is this film worth watching? Sure, it's a good popcorn movie, especially in the first 20 minutes that I keep talking about. It's really tense. I enjoyed that part. But after that, it's literally just kick your feet up and just enjoy the movie for what it is. If you are new to my channel and you like this review, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any horror content, topics, reviews, anything I put out there. So until next time, go check out my other videos. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. But more importantly, don't get too scared. Take care, guys.